Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is another opportunity for us on bioinformatics. And today we are considering practical application of artificial intelligence and understanding bioinformatics in environmental biology. Today being 15th May 2025, and this presentation is anchored by Adeoti OM. And let's continue. What are the objectives of this presentation? Number one, we are to understand the role of artificial intelligence and bioinformatics in environmental biology. Number two, to also identify the real world application and case studies of artificial intelligence in environmental biology. As environmental biologists, what are the tools we should be able to explore tools, algorithm, and data types that we can make use of in environmental biology? Then we are going to cap the class with discussing what are the major challenges and future direction in which bioinformatics can be applied into um, environmental biology. Once again, if somebody should ask you what is environmental biology, environmental biology is a study that is focused on establishing the relationship or studying the relationship between organisms and the environment. That is, how do organisms, be it microorganism, macroorganism, plant, animals, how do they interact with the environment? That is what environmental biology could be. Then our focus as environmental biologists are on ecology, conservation. We are concerned with pollution and different types of organism that we can talk of, and that is in terms of biodiversity. Environmental biology requires large-scale data analysis for effective decision making, and that is one of the reasons why bioinformatics is very, very important for us in environmental biology. There are different types of data that are everywhere about the diversity, about different types of organisms, but how can we make informed decision on this data has been a major challenge for us, and that is the reason why environmental biologists are also considering the application, that is the use of bioinformatics in analysis of their data. Computational tools, that is, what do we mean by bioinformatics? Don't forget that this is your second year of studying bioinformatics, and I told us that the science of analyzing, retrieving, and interpretation of data is what is called bioinformatics. And I told us that bioinformatics is just more than just a course. It is a career, it is a discipline, and it is a career that we use in managing and analyzing of biological data. It is widely applicable in genomics, that is the study of genes. It is applicable in study of proteomics, that is the scientific generation of protein, studying protein and their structure, that is and their function, and that is proteomics. And also it is very, very important in environmental biology, that is in system biology. Okay, and basically common tools, these are common tools that is very, very applicable to us in bioinformatics. Number one is blast, number two faster, and number three is we are going to make use of a bioconductor. Now, if we may ask, what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence, which has the short form to be AI, is a machine simulation of human intelligence. That is, what artificial intelligence do is to imitate is to imitate human intelligence, which include machine learning, deep learning, and neural network. And it is very key for automation and scaling up of data analysis in biology. What are the major sources of data? That is, as a bioinformatician and as an environmental biologist, where can we get our data? How can we make our data to be applicable into this? Number one, we will rely on genomic stroke metagenomic sequencing. Apart from that, we will also rely on satellite and environmental sensor data, and we will also rely on microbial profiling of ecological databases. So as an environmental biologist and also a bioinformatician, there are different databases that we can actually go into, which are specifically for environmental biology. So how can we apply AI in environmental biology? Number one, it is used in predicting climate change and their impacts. So as an environmental biologist that want to apply artificial intelligence, we can use that to predict climate change impacts. Then number two, we also use that in monitoring species distribution. As we are going to see in the practical session we are going to do today, we are going to make use of artificial intelligence right from our small application or our smartphone. We are going to make use of it in generating or knowing how species are being distributed in a certain uh, place of time. And it is also applicable in real-time ecosystem modeling. For example, if you know artificial intelligence or bioinformatics very well, you might not be in the field, but with your knowledge in artificial intelligence, you can predict, you can see it, just like the way microbiologists and some others used to apply bioinformatics in vaccine development. So they will just design vaccine using on their system, on their computer, and by the time they finish doing that, that is the idea they will take to the field to produce that kind of vaccine. So the same thing is also applicable to us in environmental biology. So we can actually determine, we can predict by modeling the real-time scenario right away from doing that on our personal computer or our smartphone. Bioinformatics application continuation, it is also very useful in soil and water microbiome analysis. That is, if we want to predict, we want to know what are the organisms, what are the microorganisms that lives in the soil, what are those organisms that lives on water, and so on. We can make use of bioinformatics to do that. And by the time, don't forget that soil is an environment, water is also an environment. Then apart from that, we can use what is called environmental DNA tracking, e-tracking, that is eDNA. We can make use of bioinformatics to be able to track some certain DNA. Then we can also make use of phylogenetic analysis of endangered species. So with our knowledge in bioinformatics, don't forget that in your first year of studying bioinformatics, I really taught you on how to draw phylogenetic tree, and that was the use of Mega and use of Phillips and some others like that. So it is an application of bioinformatics in phylogenetic generation. That is, if you want to know what are those species that are very, very susceptible to going into extinction, by plotting phylogenetic tree for that, we could actually do that. Then you can also use omics data, that is anything omics like genomics, metabolomics, proteomics, and so on, anything that has to do with omics. So we can use that to generate data that we will use for conservation. Then how can we integrate artificial intelligence and bioinformatics together. Don't forget that the backbone of bioinformatics is artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence enhances pattern recognition in omics data. Then it is artificial intelligence that has to do with deep learning in environmental metagenomics, and we also use artificial intelligence to predict models for microbial interaction. And we have different case studies, that is examples, where we can apply artificial intelligence for species identification, and that is exactly what we are going to do today. So the first thing is that the first case study is image generation with CNN. After that, we are going to automate biodiversity monitoring, then increases speed and accuracy in wildlife conservation. The second case study is how can we apply artificial intelligence and our knowledge in bioinformatics in water control quality, that is in water quality. Number one is to be able to use bioinformatics to detect microbial contamination by the use of what is called metagenomics. Then we should be able to also simulate anomaly detection model in which are going to pose some health risk onto us. Then artificial intelligence can be applied to make sure that our water is safe. And what are those tools that as an environmental biologist that you need to get used into? The first one is AI, and that is you need to know how to use TensorFlow, you need to know scikit-learn and keras. We are going to make use of that, and I'm going to teach you how to actually go about all this. Then in bioinformatics, by now you know how to use Mega. Some of us should be conversant with Galaxy as well as BioPython. And by now, if you are to get any data, you know how to go into NCBI, you know how to go to environmental European nucleic acid, you know how to go to that, and MGRAST. Now, the question now is, what are the major challenges that we can face or that we do face as an environmental biologist? Number one is data heterogeneity. That is, because we have a lot of data from different organisms, including from different environments. How can we make sure that that data is now in our fingertips? So that is the first thing, and that is data heterogeneity. We have different. Then we have limited label databases. There are some databases in bioinformatics that you might use them today, and the next few weeks when you find them, you might not see them again. So because we have a limited label databases. Then there are ethical issues. When we say ethical issues in the use of artificial intelligence or bioinformatics, there are ethical issues because some people still believe that artificial intelligence is anti-God. Some still believe that the use of artificial intelligence is somehow trying to play some kind of religion or other ethical issues like that. So there are some people that they will never, and they promise that they will never even apply artificial intelligence or even bioinformatics in that. And another challenge is interdisciplinary collaboration. If you want to be successful as an environmental biologist that is going to make use of a bioinformatics, you need not to stay alone. You need to collaborate with other fields. As an environmental biologist, you need information from those in microbiology, you need information from biochemists, you need information from statistics, computer, and even in other areas. Now, the question is, what is going to be the future of artificial intelligence, the future of bioinformatics specifically in our area, that is environmental biology? Okay, don't forget that this presentation is actually being tailored to how can we apply how relevant is bioinformatics into our own field as an environmental biologist? Just like I said, there are some of us that will even think that we don't actually need the knowledge of bioinformatics because we are an environmental biologist. Some people felt that it is only those that are in pharmaceutical companies and industry that will actually need to do that. So what is the future of artificial intelligence? Honestly, even beyond environmental biology now, if you don't know how to make use of artificial intelligence at this level, I think you better have a second thought about yourself. So artificial intelligence is going to help us to forecast a lot of things. It's going to help us to forecast weather. It's going to make us to predict when should we plant for food security. Then artificial intelligence is going to the direction of drug discovery from environmental bioresources. Some people believe that up till now, there are still millions of drug candidates that are yet to be tapped, that are yet to be uncovered. So, and that is why artificial intelligence will continue to be very, very useful in the future. Then there is citizen science integration. So there's a kind of effort to make sure that we integrate different types of science into this area and interdisciplinary training initiative. So, conclusively, AI and bioinformatics has come to revolutionize environmental biology. Not only that, it is going to enable data-driven conservation. If we want to conserve our species, if we don't want our